This is macOS Ken.
The date set for the next Apple event, Wall Street seems stoked, and comings and goings for Apple's car project. It is Wednesday, the 8th of September, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get 20% off your system plus your first month free when you sign up for interactive monitoring service at simplisafecom/macOSCan. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Virtual invitations to a socially distanced film before no studio audience event have gone out. TechCrunch says Apple has graced the inboxes of a select few with announcements for a presentation next Tuesday, the 14th of September at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Get ready to have a song stuck in your head for the next week. The event sails under the title California Streaming. A friend of mine immediately took that to mean that Apple intends to say something about plans for Apple TV Plus. I think it's just a play on words, one that'll keep the mamas and the papas playing in my head on a loop for the next week or two. The safest bets for the event are new iPhones and something in an Apple Watch. It is the calendar that makes those the safest bets, though the phone talk gets backed up by a very recent regulatory filing. In the wee small hours of Tuesday morning, Mac Rumors ran a report on a new MagSafe charger for iPhone. This we know about thanks to a filing for the charger made with the Federal Communications Commission. While it seems to say little about the charger itself, the piece says it does include updated testing based on new equipment. Regarding that equipment, Mac Rumors says Apple lists 4 new phone items. It also lists 4 model numbers which correspond to the current iPhone 12 lineup. The filing lists those as legacy devices, according to the report. With watches and iPhones practically a given, a lack of iPads is making that show up as a possibility as well. Apple Insider ran a piece Tuesday evening saying stock of Apple's most affordable iPad model is running low at retail stores and online, suggesting a rumored refresh of the entry-level tablet is near. Spot checks by that site show low supply on Apple sites in China, Japan, the UK, and the US. The piece says the entry-level iPad was last updated this time last year. One is tempted to move an iPad refresh into the likely category for next Tuesday. What can one say about the announcement sent to recipients? This one can say it's kinda dull. It's a picture of mountains and a lake at sunrise or sunset with a sort of neon outline of the Apple logo at the center. Look closely at the logo and it's less an outline than a piece of glass, maybe. The colors inside the logo are warmer than the colors outside the logo. While the flat pic is pretty but staid, there is a lot to play with once Apple starts playing. Apple SVP of Marketing Greg Joswiak posted a teaser video to Twitter that honestly looks cooler than the art on the invitation. While the invitation shows mountains and a lake with the outline of an Apple logo laid over it, the short clip posted by Jaws shows a shot from inside Apple Park with the same Apple logo outline. But inside that outline are the mountains and lake from the invitation. Sort of makes the Apple logo a portal to another place, which makes a tiny part of my brain think we are finally going to hear something serious about realities, augmented and virtual this time. To be clear, though, that tiny part of my brain is always looking and listening for that because I want, gimme. I want to believe. I'm trying to not believe. Apple is making that difficult, especially with the AR trick that they've pulled with this week's announcement. For a while now, a couple of years I think, Apple has hidden an augmented reality Easter egg in its event invitations. Although it is expected at this point, and everybody knows how to find it, so maybe saying hidden is not quite right. Let me start again. For a while now, a couple of years I think, Apple has placed an augmented reality toy in its event invitations. California Streaming is no exception. iDownload blog walks us through it, saying, if you go visit the company's official landing page for the upcoming event at apple.com/events on your iPhone, you'll be greeted with a new Apple logo inspired by the invitation itself. You tap that logo and you can enter the AR viewer by tapping the AR button at the top of the page. Once you do that, the neon outlined Apple logo will appear in your field of view, hovering in the space in which you live, with the mountains and lake inside. Now here's where it gets really cool. You can go into it, through it. Like, there's the Apple logo hanging in space on your front walk. Cross its plane and the lake and mountains fill your screen, with the numbers 914 fading in for the date of the event. But keep your phone held up and turn around, and there is your front door through the portal of a neon-lined, flipped horizontal Apple logo. And suddenly you are through the looking glass, holding a phone that is much warmer than when you picked it up. Still, the augmented moment is magical. I want, gimme, gimme. As has been mentioned, the event is set for just under a week from now, Tuesday, the 14th of September at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Apple's events page says would-be viewers can watch online at apple.com or on the Apple TV app. The page does not mention streaming it on YouTube, but Apple does plan to do so. There's already a placeholder with a button to set a reminder on Apple's YouTube channel. Apparently propelled by next week's event announcement, Mac Daily News says Apple shares hit new intraday and closing highs on Tuesday. Shares got as high as $157.26 before giving back a little over half a buck. They ended the day up $2.39, closing at $156.69, dude. Apple 3.0's Philip Elmer DeWitt says shares punched it at noon Eastern, coinciding with the release of the event announcement. Tuesday's close marks the third record in 3 trading days for the shares, according to Apple 3.0, and its 11th record high for the year. Apple currently has a market value of $2.59 trillion, according to Mac Daily News. While editors feverishly edit next week's presentation, coders keep coding and testing and testing and coding. Apple Insider says Apple has started its 9th round of developer betas with a fresh build of tvOS 15 and HomePodOS available for testing as the final release to the public nears. What happened to the 8th round? It seems it was released on my days off. For the completionist in you, Apple Insider says Apple issued the 8th round on the 31st of August, following after the 7th from the 25th of August. The 6th round landed on the 17th of August, while the 5th arrived on the 10th of August, except for watchOS 8, which landed on the 11th. You know, I hate to speculate, but kind of feels like there might be new stuff coming soon. News of another of the least exciting firmware updates known to Stan. Stan's a guy I know, whatever. Anyway, Mac Rumors says Apple has updated the firmware for AirTag, the Cupertino company's super small, almost edible device tracker. Actually, revised might be a better word than updated. The firmware number is still the same, 1.0.276, but the internal build designation has inched up, moving from 1A291C to 1A291E. No word on what the revision does. You can't force it if it hasn't happened yet. I'm not even sure you can see the internal build number, but it's apparently a tiny bit bigger. 3 cheers. More news in a moment, but first a word from SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. SimpliSafe has been doing that for years. protecting people and places from break-ins, fires, and water damage. Now they're looking outside with their new wireless outdoor security camera. The camera folds in nicely with everything people love about SimpliSafe, like easy installation. Just attach the screw-in mount and place your camera on top, letting its super strong magnet hold the device securely in place. Sounds as easy as the rest of their setup. Setting up my base station, sensors, and keypad took well under an hour. And of course the camera works hand in hand with the award-winning SimpliSafe system, so you get real protection from your front lawn to your backyard. Safety and simplicity, inside and out, that's SimpliSafe. To learn more about the exciting new SimpliSafe wireless outdoor security camera, visit simplysafe.com/macOSken. What's more, SimpliSafe is celebrating this new camera by offering 20% off your entire new system and your first month of monitoring service free when you enroll in interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Again, that's simplysafe.com/macOSken. Let's do some car talk. Would you prefer the good news or the bad news about Apple's AutoWorks? Oh, I know, let's weave back and forth between the two. Late last week, Mac Rumors ran a piece saying Apple had hired a couple of former Mercedes engineers to play click and clack in Cupertino. Actually, I feel bad for one of these people. Here's what Mac Rumors has to say about the two of them. The leading new hire previously worked at Mercedes, focusing on mass production of vehicles, vehicle steering, dynamics, and software and project management. The hire, now working as a product design engineer at Apple at its Special Projects Group, also previously worked at Porsche, undertaking similar responsibilities. A second engineer who previously worked at Mercedes has also recently been tapped by Apple to join the company, Mac Rumors has learned. Really wasn't about two engineers, was it? More like 1.1 of them. Veering now into the bad news lane, another piece from Mac Rumors hit yesterday with news of an Apple Car departure. Doug Field, VP of Special Projects for Apple, either is leaving or has left for Ford. In a press release Tuesday, Ford said Field will oversee the embedded software and hardware organization currently consisting of vehicle controls, enterprise connectivity, features, integration and validation, architecture and platform, driver assistance technology, and digital engineering tools. Tweets and an article from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman make Field's flight sound like the end of days for Apple Car. Sure, it could suffer the same fate as the full-on Apple television, but there is so much money here. Apple has put a lot of time into it. Apple could solve a lot of problems with it, and there are plenty of self-driving fish in the sea. For example, word is Apple has recently hired 1.1 engineers from Mercedes. Also, Field takes flight every now and then. According to Mac Rumors, he actually started his career at Ford several years ago. He's also drawn checks from Johnson & Johnson, Decca Research, and Segway. Somewhere in there, he worked at Apple, where he was VP of Hardware Engineering for the Mac. Eventually, he went to Tesla, where Mac Rumors says he oversaw production of Model 3. From there, it was back to Apple, and now it's back to Ford. Maybe Gurman could dial it down just a notch. Doesn't sound like Field is a forever guy. And finally today, merging back into the good news lane, it looks like Apple has secured a playground for its autos. Late last week, Apple Insider ran a piece saying a company associated with Apple has bought an automotive testing site in Arizona. Citing a report from AZ Big Media, the piece says the 5,458-acre site is located near Phoenix, Arizona, and was formerly used by Chrysler as a vehicle proving ground. Delaware-based company Route 14 Investment Partners LLC has purchased the site for $125 million in cash. The piece goes on to say Route 14 is an entity managed by the law office of Greenberg Traurig, hiding its true ownership, though some believe that the company is connected to Apple. The piece then goes on to make one of those cork boards with entity names, dates, thumbtacks, and yarn. All in words, of course, though if you could see it physically, it would seem to point to Apple buying the property. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get 20% off your system plus your first month free when you sign up for interactive monitoring service at simplisafecom/macOScan. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOScan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Can. I'm Ken Ray.
Cha.